It's Kim here and welcome to a very sunny and warm sunny coast. I put on a lot of sunscreen today to protect myself from the sun, but it is a pretty fucking lovely day outside today. Look at this. This video is probably the most important one I have done so far because I'm going to talk about something that lies extremely close to my heart and something that I used to struggle with a lot in the past. I think that we need to talk more about men's mental health and women's mental health as well. I think that we struggle with different things. I think that we have different challenges that we need to overcome, men and women. And I think that whatever we do in today's society is pretty stupid because we try and blame the other side all the time. I feel like a lot of women blame men for things, and I feel like a lot of men blame women. And we need to realize that we are not opponents. We are opposites, men and women. We are opposites. Like plus and minus on a magnet, we need each other. So we need to stop blaming each other all the time for whatever it might be and come together as men and women, as we've always done in the past. Imagine if we could all work together, how strong we would be united instead of separated. And I'm confident that we need more strong men and more strong women to lead today's society forward. So in this video I'm going to talk about 3 things that I think a lot of men struggle with in today's day and age and how we can overcome all those things. So the first big thing I see a lot of men do wrong in today's society is that they lack commitment. And this is one of the biggest things you can do to improve your mental health as a man. One of the most important things you can do as a man is to speak your truth and stay committed to whatever you're saying. Stay committed to your word. Stop lying about things. Because if you constantly promise yourself that you're gonna do things and you put them off and you never keep that word to yourself, you are gonna create lack of trust in yourself. And if you can't trust yourself, how are other people supposed to trust you and whatever direction you're going in? I think as a man, one of the most important things you can do is to have a clear direction of where you want to go in your life and actually take necessary steps to get to where you want to go. This is how you create a purpose in your life as well. And I feel like a lot of men, they walk around and they think that the purpose is out here somewhere, you know? We constantly walk around and we tell ourselves that I'd like to be that person, but I don't necessarily want to take the necessary steps to get there. I just have a vision of where I'd like to be. And this is a major paradox because what this is going to do in your life is that it's going to create a lack of self-trust. Imagine if somebody else broke the word they gave to you all the time. You would not be able to trust that person. Whenever that person said, oh, let's do this, let's do whatever, I'm gonna do this for you or whatever, you would just be like, oh, okay, well, here we go again, you know? You would never trust that. And if you constantly do that to yourself, how are other people supposed to trust you? How are you supposed to trust yourself? You're gonna create lack of self-trust, which is gonna lower your self-worth, because if you can't trust yourself, you're not gonna feel worthy to achieve whatever you want to achieve in life. So self-trust creates self-worth, which creates self-love. Self-worth comes from being able to trust ourselves, being able to feel good about ourselves. And how do we feel good about ourselves? We stay committed to the things that we promise ourselves. That's how we create good self-worth as men. We need to be committed to what we're saying. So there's 2 things I want you to do. I either want you to start doing the things that you say to yourself that you're gonna do, or stop saying that you're gonna do things, that which you know that you're never gonna do. Because if you keep saying to yourself, I'm gonna do that, and you never do that, self-trust goes down, self-worth goes down. But if you say to yourself, I'm gonna fucking do that, and you make sure to follow through, not even you would start trusting yourself, but people around you would start realizing that, oh geez, he's actually doing things he promised himself that he's gonna do. That guy follows through, you know? And that's the type of guy that people want to be led by. Somebody that follows through, somebody that takes action and walks in a direction. It doesn't matter what direction you walk in. Just walk in any direction that feels natural and good to you. So this is the first one, and this is a big one. Stay committed to your word. Super, super, super important for your own mental health as a man. The second thing I think that most men need to incorporate in their lives is vulnerability. And I think vulnerability is a very misunderstood concept because a lot of men tend to think that vulnerability is weakness, and that is completely wrong. Vulnerability does not mean that you just empty all your emotions on top of another woman or a man or whatever. Vulnerability means that you have the strength and courage enough to express what is hurting you. Express your authentic self. Imagine if you were able to show up true and authentic and complete to the world at all times. If you had a bad day, for example, you would never feel like you had to apologize for anything ever. You would never feel bad for feeling bad. You would always own your emotional state. And this is why vulnerability is so powerful for men. I think women are a lot better at this, because for women it's seen as okay to talk about your emotions, but in today's society, it's getting a lot better now. But in today's society, I feel like we've been taught, especially me, growing up in the 90s and stuff like that, I was taught when I grew up to don't be a bitch, you know, don't cry, like you shouldn't cry in front of people, stuff like that. So I've had a lot of issues to actually express my emotions for a very long time. And it's only been over the last maybe 2 years that I've found how extremely powerful this is as a man. Because if you never walk around and express your true self, if you never walk around and express what you're feeling in the moment, how are you supposed to set healthy and clear boundaries in your life? You're just gonna let people walk all over you, right? You need vulnerability to be able to express your boundaries and to realize your own standards in life. Because without vulnerability, you would never say, oh, this is not okay for me, I'm not a part of this, I don't want to be a part of this makes me feel so and so. So vulnerability has nothing to do with weakness. It's actually a sign of strength, and a big sign of strength. Because men tend to grow from facing their challenges and overcoming fears. And we actually heal ourselves as men by showing ourselves as vulnerable. And what would be the most challenging thing for a man? What would be the most scary thing for a man to do? Would it be to do as we've been taught, walk around and hold everything inside and shut up whenever we feel like we want to speak our truth or whatever? Or would it be to actually face that fear of expressing ourselves and be vulnerable? The biggest challenge is obviously option number 2. So if we can overcome that challenge and face that fear of being vulnerable as a man, we would not only grow from that challenge and facing that fear, but we would actually heal ourselves, our internal states. And that is the most important thing you can do as a man, by showing up true to the world, true to yourself, and true to everybody. Without vulnerability, there wouldn't be any sign of strength, in my opinion. And the reason why so many men suffer in today's society is that they think that, oh, I can't burden people with whatever I'm carrying inside. I can't burden anybody. This is my pain. And it's almost like we want to protect our own pain. It's such a weird paradox. Like, this is my pain. I'm not going to show that to anybody. You know? So by expressing our traumas, by expressing our insecurities, by expressing our flaws and weaknesses, we actually face something that most men walk around and fear the most in life. By showing up true to themselves. So vulnerability, number 2, super important as well. Actually, one of the biggest insights in my life was when I started talking about my traumatic past and things that I've held within for such a long time. After I did that, I felt like my heart just exploded in openness. And a big reason the planet looks like it does today is because people walk around with closed hearts. We need to open up. We need to express ourselves. We need to come together as men, as a tribe, and be strong together. Yes, I'm not sure if you've seen the video that I've done of my 5-year transformation. That is a very physical transformation, and obviously the inside is what matters the most in the end, in my opinion. I mean, you can do like a physical transformation, but if you don't feel good on the inside, if you only look good on the outside but you don't feel good on the inside, why does it matter? It doesn't matter at all. So if you haven't seen that video, I link it up here. Go give that one a look, because it explains what I've done externally to transform my own life and how you can feel better than ever as a man. But there are challenges that you need to overcome. You have done something repeatedly in your life to put you in the position that you're in right now. I think we both can agree on that something has to change. You have to start challenging yourself again, because I didn't do that for a long time, and I did not like the person that I had become. I think us men are wired to challenge ourselves and to face our fears and to become better than ever. And the reason I think a lot of men struggle with vulnerability in today's day and age is because back in the day, when we were supposed to protect the tribe and protect the village and whatever, we needed to be very stoic. We needed to be very put together. We could not be emotional then. We need to be switched on and wired to be ready to fight. And being vulnerable in a situation like that could actually mean that we would end up dying. So it makes sense that a lot of us men struggle with vulnerability. And you don't have to agree with me on this one. You don't have to agree with me on anything I say. But this is just my opinion, how I see the world, and what I've done to heal myself in my own life. And I know for a fact that if a lot of men would apply these things into their own lives, I think the world would be a lot better, and I think the world would be a happier place to live in. And I think that a lot of us would get along much better in today's day and age. If you put resistance on a muscle, it will grow. If you put resistance on your courage, it will grow as well. So you need to learn how to challenge yourself again. You need to get out of your own comfort zone. And if you do struggle with mental health, facing your fear and going against whatever feels uncomfortable for you is gonna change your life dramatically. So the third and final thing why men suffer in today's society is because of distractions, and this is the biggest one in my opinion. Because there are so many distractions out in the world in this day and age. You have junk food, you have alcohol, you have porn, you have video games, you have drugs, you have endless scrolling on Instagram, TikTok, whatever. Because what these things do is that they give us dopamine in our brains. And dopamine works in a way that it gets released in our minds when we achieve something. So picture, for example, you sitting down in a video game and you've been playing this video game for 2 weeks, and all of a sudden you get this magical sword or whatever it might be, or this gun or something like that. You're gonna get a major release of dopamine in your mind because you feel like you're achieving something. But what are you really achieving in life? You're not achieving basically anything except for sitting in front of a screen for 2 weeks, right? So this is why video games are so addictive to men, because it keeps us hypnotized and it mimics the things that keeps us driven in life to achieve and build and accomplish things. So whenever you sit in front of the computer achieving things online on that video game, that is your biological need to achieve a certain goal in life. So imagine if you could channel that power, that time you put into that video game, into completing a goal in real life, or into achieving something, into pursuing a girl, whatever it might be. Imagine how much better you're gonna feel then for actually doing something real in your life. Porn works in exactly the same way. We're sitting in front of a fucking screen and jerking off, and we tend to feel fucking horrible after. And this is because porn keeps us from facing our fears, going out to pursue girls in real life. So imagine if you sit and jerk off to the computer screen every day, you're very less likely to go outside and pursue chicks and face rejection and all those sort of things that build us up as men. So video games and porn are especially damaging to men's brain because they mimic this biological need to go outside and face our fears and overcome challenges. So imagine if you would remove all the distractions in your life. Imagine if you would remove alcohol, drugs, all the escapism sort of behavior that you have. It's gonna create some discomfort because it's gonna create some sort of feeling of not feeling accomplished with yourself. But this energy is what you should use to go outside and do something that's gonna make you feel accomplished. This is the biggest reason why a lot of men struggle in today's day and age, and why we see a lot of men being addicted to all these substances, because they keep us in the comfort zone. We are getting too comfortable. We're not walking outside and doing things that we feel is a bit intimidating or scary to us. We're so addicted to these things because we're numbing ourselves from the pain that tells us to go outside and challenge ourselves again. It's so much easier to just go and sit in front of the computer and play a video game or jerk off to porn instead of going out and doing something that is gonna be feeling uncomfortable, right? Because you're always gonna be comfortable in front of the computer. So if you can remove all the distractions in your life, if you can remove all these things that keeps us stuck in our minds as men, you are going to achieve a lot of things. And if you can channel all that sort of built up emotional pain, if you can be vulnerable with yourself, if you can stay committed to your word, and if you can channel that emotional pain that you feel from distracting yourself into something productive, I can promise you that your life is going to look extremely different in a year from now. So there's not going to be an easy, quick fix to a big problem, but you need to start challenging yourself again. And you need to do these 3 things that I mentioned in this video to be able to achieve whatever you want in your life. One of my highest visions in my life is to be able to connect people again, to be able to lead people into a better future. If we can come together as men and women again and stop blaming each other for everything all the time, stop judging each other, if we can start practicing open-mindedness towards judgment and close-mindedness. Whenever somebody judges you for something or say that you're doing wrong, if you can just treat that with love and acceptance instead of trying to judge them back. Because if we all walk around and judge each other all the time, how the fuck are we supposed to create a better world? It's not gonna happen. And I think we all can agree on that something needs to change in today's day and age. And we have to start with ourselves. And my biggest wish is that we would stop judging each other and stop being so fucking horrible to each other, because I feel like there's almost like 2 camps. Men and women see each other as opponents at the moment. A lot of men see each other as rivals. We should be brothers, we should be sisters, we should be lovers, we should be all these things. We should help each other. Women should support women, men should support men, men should support women, and women should support men. And we should find each other again and help each other out and create a better society. So if I could spread this message to one person, I'd be happy. But my highest wish would obviously be that the entire planet would start thinking like this, because it makes you smile thinking about a future if the future would work in this way. More love and acceptance instead of resentment and hatred, right? Anyway, it is fucking hot outside today. It's about 30 degrees and I've been walking around in the sun for a long time. And the water and the ocean, yeah, I think we can agree that it looks pretty fucking awesome. I really hope that you take something out of this video, because this is something that I'm truly passionate about. We need to come together again. But I really hope that you liked this video. If you did, give it a thumbs up. Follow me on Instagram as well. It's Kimmin. I will link it down in the description below. Don't forget to comment and subscribe, and I will definitely see you in the next video. Thank you so much. Peace.